right, I will call to order the March 7th, 2022 meeting of the Polk City Parks Commission. Can I get a roll call?
Oh, let's me sit now. Sorry, new duties as secretary first time. All right. Otis.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
Converse here. Delaney. Holland. Here. Bentley. Savage.
Here.
All right. First item, I guess, is the approval of the minutes of the February 7th meeting of the Parks Commission. Can I get a motion to approve?
A motion.
I'll second.
All right. Meeting minutes approved.
All
Can we get
in favor.
all in favor of approving the minutes, please?
Aye.
All disapproving? Same sign? Okay. Then now I guess it's approved. Okay. Audience items. Did we have anything in the audience?
Nothing tonight, sir.
All right. Agenda item number 5 then. We have a presentation from Jessica Pfau, chair of the Polk City Friends of the Parks. All right. Floor is yours.
All right, well, I am Jessica Pfau. I have 2 little boys who are 6 and 2, and we moved here from Windsor Heights in 2017, first to Marina Cove and then over to Lost Lakes. So yeah, we love the lake, we use the trail a lot, and of course the playgrounds. Professionally, I wear many hats, but one of them is being the admin to the Friends of the Parks in Des Moines. I've been with them for 4 years. And I do an array of things with them, like their website and tax letters and emails, event support, and I go to all their board meetings. So when I heard that we were going to have a Friends of the Parks in Polk City, it was something I knew I wanted to be part of. But so we first met in January and decided that our mission is to enhance, grow, and provide sustainable parks, trails, and green spaces for the benefit of the entire community. And basically our goal is strictly to just fundraise for the parks. All of our extra money, all of our fundraising money that we get it just goes to you guys. It really is. It's the money that's not budgeted for the city, and it's something that we give so that, to enhance the parks and grow them faster. So we decided to have 2 big fundraisers this year. One is going to be in the fall. It'll be a bike ride coincide with Fall Fest. But the first one we're going to do is an Earth Day 5K. And so that is going to be on April 23rd. It will start at the Polk City Square. It'll run towards Marina Cove. It'll hop on the trail a little bit and then go through Marina Cove Park, over to Twin Lakes Park, back on the trail, and then back up through town. It'll end about 11 o'clock, and so then from 11 to noon, we're going to do kid activities in the square. It'll include a baby crawl, a trot, some youth races, and then some other just kid-friendly activities. And Fenders has decided to be a sponsor, and they are going to do a special event here. And all the proceeds from that beer will go to us at the event. So that's awesome. I also have sponsors from Casey's and Luana Bank as well. And so I have a handful of other emails and contacts I'm reaching out to get sponsorship there too. So when we decided our events, we tried to figure out, how do we get people to attend and how do we get people to donate money to us? And so we decided to really get behind a cause and a project to really advertise around, and we didn't have much time to decide this. We really had January. And so we decided to go with Leonard Park, a shade structure. And so we've posted that out there, and it's gotten a lot of great feedback. The neighborhoods seem to appreciate that and want that. And really, so far, we have about 21 groups signed up, and registration's only been open for a week, so that's really good news. And then the first 100 participants will also get a a tree seedling or sapling, just a little tree to plant in your yard. And that was all donated to us as well. So yeah, right now all we've done is just advertise on Facebook, but we do have flyers that we're going to start posting around the town and get the event out there a little bit more. But so it's a big goal, $10,000 for the shade structure. But if we raise all $10,000 in this event, then we'll pick another project for fall. And if we don't, then we'll use that money for this too. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But we are definitely open to feedback from your group, from the community. We are going to have a poster at the 5K saying, what do you want to see in the parks, and try to get some ideas flowing that way. This was just the one that we knew a lot of people wanted, and we kind of did the budget for right away. So really in general, we're here to support the parks and just to support you guys, and we really hope our fundraising efforts help that move it along. So yeah, do you guys have any questions for me?
How many individuals have you had signed up so far with your week of promoting?
There's been 21, so it's 21 groups, so there's about 13 individuals, and then the rest are families, and we put families as just 3 or more people, so I'm not sure.
And then for promotion right now, you said that you're just targeting, you just did
We just did a
Facebook
yep,
campaign,
yep,
and then you're going to be doing, your plans is to do local flyers or
yep,
something like that?
yep,
Okay.
yep, and then, so I'm personally like reaching out to most of the businesses as well, just letting them know like, hey, someone's going to come around with a flyer, this is our event, do you support us? So, and then the city, the chamber said they're going to help with it too, like go Polk City and all that, to try to advertise for us as well.
And that date again is April 23rd.
Yep.
And what type of volunteer help are you looking for the
Right now we haven't quite figured that out. We're gonna definitely need some volunteers. We started with asking like community visioning, and then kind of just friends, family right now. And then we're gonna see how many adults we get, and then if we have to open it up to the high schoolers, we'll do that as well. My preference is to have 2 people on almost every corner where somebody's crossing the road, just so people are aware and safe. So I've just got to nail down that number of how many volunteers that would be.
If any of us want to volunteer, I think we
Yeah.
can take it. You'll get a t-shirt out of it.
Yes, we will be. We'll have t-shirts for volunteers, some bright ones so people know to go to.
Is this something we could also mention at the city council meeting to just for awareness purposes?
Yeah.
Because I know a few more people obviously watch the broadcast when I heard you just mention it. So.
I won't be there Monday, so can you take that? That's a great idea. And
Yeah,
I was actually going to show up too Monday. I might speak
Yeah.
as well. Jason, I don't know if you're able to, but maybe when we meet next month, if we can kind of get an update on how things are progressing from the amount of people participating, and if you're needing anything that you have a vacuum with that we can help assist with. So
Yeah.
I know I appreciate I think I speak for the entire commission, we appreciate your assistance with this.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do to help with their projects? I don't know, maybe this is you, Jason. Do we have to make it a recommendation to council to accept this donation, or how does that work?
Not really. I think mostly it's going to be kind of a think tank. So this group can certainly, the parks just about as good as anybody. So when it comes to like their future fundraising, I think you've got an excellent opportunity to talk amongst yourselves and, decide if you'd like to approach this group and, but no, I don't think in terms of from a council perspective of accepting, I don't believe we would need to, would we?
I don't know. Not that I'm aware of. I'm trying to think of Friends of the Library how that was handled, but
Sure. No,
I
I
don't
mean,
think
the
that
donations are
individually
one
there,
thing,
but-
just funding,
yeah.
but to do an actual structure, I didn't know if there would have to be an approval from our board to say we would want that structure. I mean, I think it's an awesome structure. I've seen the pictures of it, but just thinking, making sure it's following the vision of what
Sure.
we're planning on, and that's kind of coordinating from there. So we just want to make sure
I
we
will,
don't get to that point and
Right.
be like, oh wait, it's got to then come to us and then there. But if we can shore that up in advance, then that's one less step.
I'll,
you
I'll,
have to make or
I'll double check and make sure. I guess worst case, not worst case, sorry, but if we need to at our April one,
yeah, and
I
we
can
could
certainly
always go
put that
there.
on there.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be any surprises of, no, we don't want it, no, but
And-
anyway.
and it's not necessarily no, we
Right.
don't want it. It's no, we
Exactly.
got to go through the formalities where it could have been in April and now it's June because we had to present it here and then council and
Yeah, I'm not sure since there's not, like when we do, like the last thing when you guys approved or recommended approval of the playground equipment, that was with an amount that was actually coming out of our budget. Exactly. So I'll double check for clarification. See, but yeah, you're right with the whole vision of, the parks master plan that you guys have been a part of for many years. Yeah, I'll make sure.
And how many members do you have on the Friends of the Park?
6.
I am also on that, so I
Yes.
can, yeah,
So you don't have
I'll
questions.
bring updates as needed to commission.
Yeah.
I guess I do have one more, and maybe
Yeah.
this is more for Jason being the new person. I'll probably throw this quite often, so I apologize until I get my feet underneath me. So I assume, again, I applaud you for doing this activity, this fundraising. I assume the funds then get thrown into or just general funds to be used for activities that you have slated throughout the calendar year. Is that correct?
No, I think all of their fundraising efforts will be for a very specific item. It'll be like a campaign. So their first one they've selected is a shade structure. Once
Okay, so that's what that's for.
Yep, and then so it won't just be,
Understood, okay.
So this time we picked a project to really get behind and advertise behind. And then, once people know us and just want to support us and we have, just a bank account, then maybe we'll just be like, here's some funds to do with what you want to do. But for now, it's easier for people to donate to a specific cause.
Okay, gotcha.
And one thing to mention, the city did give us $5,000 to start up.
Startup, yeah.
So that's been really helpful to not have to start from scratch completely with getting an event off and running.
Right. My goal is to not use that for the shade structure. So with that 21 so far, it's almost $400 raised of just that. That sponsorship, but yeah, the registration fees. But then, however many beers that Fender sells, that comes to us. And yeah, Luana did 350, Casey's did 500. So we're going
A little bit.
Well, from a council perspective, I want to say thank you, and I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to your two groups working together, because again, it's like, you gotta operate pretty tight with those tax dollars, so to have another mechanism to go out and raise funds to people that want to support the cause, that you can do things that are above and beyond, the needs are just trying to keep up, it's that, kind of extra topping that, it'll be really great to have, so thank you for your work on this, and really look forward to it. And my son's very excited about the event. The added of the tree, he likes trees and stuff like that. So whoever came up with that or offered that up, that was a nice little something extra there too. And again, what a great way to, pull everything together too. A lot of the Earth Day theme, and yeah, very, very exciting.
All right, if there's nothing else, we will move on. Okay, item number 6, discussion of Crossroads Parkland. I assume this is Jason?
yes. So the Crossroads at the Lakes development is the one out on East Bridge, kind of by the new Hy-Vee site, cattywampus from Casey's. So we've had this, and you can see here the yellow. That is our parkland dedication from that development. Nicely put. It has its challenges, and I believe this is probably one of the last parks that really made the city look at the parkland dedication ordinance or in the subdivision ordinance of what we would accept as parkland. So going forward, we won't have parks like this. Like I said, it looks great, but here we've got some timber. Here we have a retention pond. And this right here, so these are like the townhomes on, well, I can't think of the road, sorry. But I think you guys are all familiar with what townhome those are. But anyway, from here to here, it would be a great sledding hill if there wasn't water or ice at the bottom of the sledding hill. So from a typical park perspective, it's going to be challenging to really utilize it. The best piece here, and sorry for the crude nature of this, the red is where trail would go through our park. And that would continue to the west where it would connect with 3rd Street. And then to the east and off the map, it would curl around the development and hook up with the Deer Haven Trail, actually connecting just some trail connection. So that will be the most useful part of this. Now, what I'm asking the commission tonight is to help me think outside the box. Again, I don't think this is going to be a park in the traditional sense. There is next to no opportunity for play structures. And really, sorry, I just look at this land sometimes and I laugh. So this is actually part of a greater stormwater management system. So it would be over here. It would be the pond behind Subway. Okay, so from that retention pond, the water goes underneath 3rd, and then it trickles through a creek that goes through here, culvert underneath this little land bridge, and into our pond. Now, why we have one pond and there are 2 additional ponds, I'm not sure. But it goes into pond 1, then it goes into pond 2, pond 3, and then underneath Deer Haven, and it finally makes its way to, I guess it would be the Big Creek backup area. Anyway, so there's a lot of stormwater management that also comes with this piece of land. So it wouldn't be wise to really manipulate it since it's designed to move water. So I will say I applaud council for changing the parkland dedication, what we will take in the future. So knowing that, I guess what are the commission's first thoughts on this quote unquote park?
So parkland itself is just inside the yellow out,
Correct, and it's about 1.6 acres.
and it slopes up that hill, and I assume that hill is going to be developed into housing of some sort.
Yeah, so this is the existing housing that's in that little. Yes, this will a future plat of the Crossroads at the lakes.
Okay.
So yeah, we will have backyards going up against that.
And
You've
that's,
got backyards on the bottom as well?
Correct.
Those
Yep.
lots?
Yep. So as of right now, so here's where Hy-Vee, where their lot is. I think there's a house here already. Maybe there's a few more on the north side. But yeah, backyards will come up against the trail here. So really, when you talk about entry and exit into the park, it's looking very much like a Marina Cove, where it's just trail in and trail out. We won't even have really great access from the city to get, a large vehicle in there for maintenance. We'll have to rely on getting in on the trail. But it's a 10-foot trail, so we'll be able to utilize it within reason. We can't take a double axle truck in there; we'd crush the trail. But
Are we doing anything to make sure that the trail connects to the trail out along 3rd with whatever future development's going to happen there?
yes,
Okay.
The dark spot on the left.
Yes.
What's that?
I believe that was just some landscaping fabric that was put in there initially to reduce erosion.
yeah, it's just a spot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it was a house structure or
Right.
something.
I had to look that up too. Yeah, it doesn't right now.
Mhm.
How big or deep are those ponds? I mean, could we bring in the guy from the DNR we had last time and stock it and kind of keep it like a fishing pond, even though it's going to flow out? Or
No, so And actually, Tyler mentioned this briefly. These are not designed well to sustain a fish population. The depth isn't right. The surface area isn't right. You'd see about a seasonal fish kill.
Like, a lot like one behind
Is it
where that drains.
typically have water standing in it or not very often?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Every
I
time
don't know
I've been
if
out
it's
there,
just a
yeah, it
aerial-
does. So I've been kind of thinking about this because, as it develops, people are going to know or hear that's a park. I'd like to kind of get in front of this, where, maybe it's not a park, but, we call it, here's my idea, and you guys can tell me if it's good or bad or indifferent or, I see this as, also when it comes to like a budget standpoint, it drives me batty to think that I would have to mow this just to mow it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's a wise use of money. So I'd kind of like to come in here, almost think of it as like an area of pollinator, prairie grasses, almost considering it a natural area. And so maybe instead of calling it a park, it's known as a natural area or a preserve. I'm not sure. I can't think of another good use.
Make a butterfly garden or
Yeah,
something?
stuff like that. Uh-huh.
Could you let it, not overgrow too much, but do like a 9-hole disc golf or something where you're kind of going into the trees, and then you wouldn't have to put any solid structures in there. And, I'm kind of thinking at a smaller scale, but like Big Creek has, it's just kind of cut into the prairie area in some places. Just something to where you could put a few holes in there, and you could still do a lot of the prairie grasses, especially along the retention to minimize a disc or something from going in.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to kind of walk out and see if that could be a possibility.
Jason, where would the access points be then for the? So the trail would be the red line, right?
Right.
Would that go all the way up to Third, or?
Yeah, so this trail would come over here and meet up with Third. So yeah, you would have trail access right here. And this is going to, a bank bought this commercial lot, so that would go behind their
You
space.
said that the trail off here to the
Yep.
east would go over to Deer Haven,
Yes, yeah, that would, shortly after this map, it would start to jog to the north.
so there would be no trail or no access to the north side.
No. So yeah, like right in here, like I said, these are townhomes. This would be property of the HOA. And then, yeah, this still belongs to the Kimberly, the development. So yeah, like I said, these will be backyards. So yeah, it's truly, the only way to get in without trespassing would be on the trail.
I guess my thought is that if the land isn't conducive to something usable, do you convert it to like what you said, to a tall grass prairie / butterfly pollinator type of, that way as individuals are walking through it, at least you have some sort of structure, something to observe there. Again, if it's not conducive to something to be usable, right? Just a thought to bring a little bit more color and
I think from
support.
a homeowner's perspective, if you had more of a natural area around there with keeping some timber and having some prairie, or it could be really nice to have one of those properties there, different than other parks. I don't think, there's not enough space or real estate to really do a whole lot with. Even the disc golf's a good idea, but it's only 1.8 acres, you said?
1.66.
Yeah, I don't know how much space that would typically take up, but, and then a good portion of it's water, right? So,
Right, yeah.
I think that doing prairie plantings or something would be really cool. Could be a really good educational opportunity too. Maybe some future programming that you can consider for parks. Take a classroom of kids out there and learn about prairie plantings or something like that. Or
How much meat there be in a prairie planting? Would they have to go in and weed out stuff and?
takes about 3 years to get it fully
Yeah,
established.
once we plant, it would take about 3 years of babysitting it. But initially, this is just kind of overgrown with crabgrass, for lack of a better term. So I'm not sure, truthfully, if it was possible to do a prescribed burn there to start from scratch would probably be the best approach. Whether or not that's feasible, I don't know.
I don't know if any of you have been out to like the Prairie remnants that they have out of Big Creek, where they have, you know, actually placards that talk about the prairie plants. You know, I mean, I think that's good, and you know, would provide some sort of education for individuals to be aware of, you know, some native plants that were around. Again, if it's not usable for something.
Yeah, doing some interpretive signage.
But it seems like it's not usable for something. So kind of just a quick background, Jason, how was this, I guess I wasn't privy to, how was this offered up by the council use?
This was well before my time. I think
Okay.
it was probably even before.
Hang on, I'm trying to remember.
Mandy's
the
time.
of it. But I mean, so when developers come in, you know, they can offer up a certain amount of parkland and, you know, and so yeah, this would have been done at that time.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like we've talked about and implemented some different standards for what we want as parkland. So with better quality parkland in the future.
And even if there's some topography to work with, you could still have some natural trails. They might not be accessible, but you can have some like lone trails through the prairie areas to understand.
You have some walkways or, you know, little paths. So I guess I'm not, again, familiar with what's going there up on the, is that going to be residential all the way up to the corner of 3rd and East Bridge down here? Is there something going, I know
Right here.
IB's going there, right?
Yeah, right here, this lot, Home State Bank
Homestead Day. Okay.
has purchased.
So the trail would be.
Yeah, the trail would go through their property,
There's
and we already,
no sidewalk there on that side of 3rd, is there?
right, no, and you can see here where the trail ends abruptly right
So,
now.
okay.
That will also continue down. So we will have much more pedestrian connection going forward in this area.
Are you able to do trail around the pond or not?
I mean, I think you probably could. So I mean, there's a land bridge here, I'll say, and then one here. So I think there could be a possibility. I don't know what that would equate to for like distance, if you can make like a 1/4 mile loop or something, but
I mean,
it's not bad to really maybe get back in there a little bit more and enjoy the native plants if that's the route you go. With like kind of the informational along there of
A few trees too, you know, with the, if we can get different species of trees and all that kind of.
The property west of there, so is that going to be commercial development too?
this.
Eventually, well, is the bank taking that whole thing, or
This is excellent.
I
that's
think,
all one lot?
yeah,
Okay.
I believe that's one lot.
Pretty much all the way up.
It is all the way up to the trees.
Yes, right here. You can see where their property goes.
Oh, okay.
Yep, right there. Sorry, it's not great, but yep. So the bank will own some trees too. We'll see what they do with theirs.
So the path will go through there.
Yes, yep, and we've already gotten an easement, a trail easement, so yep, that won't be a problem.
Thinking on a grander scale and without walking the area, would this be something that would be conducive to like a natural theater with like people sitting on the, I guess, the north side of the hill and then something set up across the water?
I'd have to look at it more.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I mean, this
Topography.
is a fairly decent slope. Another thing, I know that their professional mowers do this for a living, but you couldn't pay me enough money to get on a mower to try to hit that. It's quite steep, and then when you see water at the bottom, no thanks. But okay, amphitheater, I can go out and walk it.
Just like a grass hill
Sure.
theater, not anything you have to.
In a time of heavy rains or melts, how much does that water expand in there? I mean, is it filling up? Even, how much more of that land is going to be lost to rain, to where if we do overplant it, that it'll all get flooded out?
Where's the high water line?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to know where that is.
Right.
The good news is if it's some sort of natural planting, it would slow that water down. you know?
Right.
It
Right.
would actually probably improve the water quality of that pond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from what I've seen, the handful of times I've been on site, this looks about normal to me. But yeah, I guess in an event of hard, fast rain,
But hopefully it would flow out fairly
Right,
quickly
yep,
and
yep.
bring back down, if it's working as expected.
Yeah. And then also, if you folks would like to kick around what you call this thing, I guess from my perspective, sometimes when you label something as a park, most people immediately think of amenities being at the park. So I'd like to, get creative and, possibly call this a nature preserve if we
Or a
went.
Prairie or.
Exactly, something like that to really distinguish that this is a different type of green space here in town.
Yeah, definitely keep park out.
I gotta throw it out. What about a dog park?
I was thinking it, I just wasn't gonna go there.
Again, with the access, no parking around it,
That's true.
yeah, I
Just park at the bank, park at Hy-Vee.
Well, and I forget, do we have, there's a dog area slated out in the regional park, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
there's something on the master plan.
yeah.
In one
For
of
that.
that, there was a large dog,
Yeah.
and a small dog park. I'm not sure if both survived, but yes, there was.
I mean, even if we do make it some sort of nature prairie or something like that, I mean, the only access, I mean, I don't think the bank's gonna want people parking in there. Or are they? I mean, it's kinda limited to the access, right? So,
Yeah, I see this as pedestrian and bike.
yeah.
Which is what a lot of the parks really are. I mean, Marina Cove's that way.
Yeah, 12 Oaks.
Leonard's
12
that
Oaks,
way.
Leonard's, Lost Lake, none of them have a parking.
It's just for people in the, well,
More or less.
I mean, there's people that'll still park on the street and get into it, but yeah, it's more residential community parks versus the destination per se.
And I know in the past the commission has went out and held their meetings. I mean, if once it gets dry enough and if y'all want to go on a field trip, I'd be happy to have a meeting out there so you guys can really see this firsthand and really kind of see what the topography of the land.
That would be useful.
Yeah.
I would agree. This is hard to.
It is, it really is.
envision what's going on.
Mhm.
I think it'll be great to have that trail connection though.
Absolutely.
Jason, is there a timeline or anything for this? Just,
Not really. It's really, if we were to come in with prairie plantings, that's really not something that would be in our CIP. For larger projects, that would be something that I would budget for. And I have a small budget for this in our proposed budget that hopefully gets approved this month. That would get us started on plantings if we decide to go that way. It's not an extravagant amount of money, but it's enough to really start a journey here. And if we did a trail, that would obviously be something that I would need to budget for in a future fiscal year. That loop that Kelly mentioned.
Okay, anything else? Not hearing anything? I guess we can move on.
Awesome. Thank you guys for the feedback.
Okay, item number 7, discussion on 2022 special event involvement.
That's
You again?
That's me again.
Excellent.
No, I just kind of wanted to, as crazy as it is being March, we're already starting to do some planning for like Fall Fest in October and Light Up in December. And as those grow, I just wanted to invite the commission to have any involvement they would like. You can or you do or you don't. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to throw that out there. If there was any sort of awareness you guys wanted to do, as simple as handing out hot chocolate on the square. I just wanted to put that guy on your guys' radar if you wanted to.
We
So
doing
let's
Four
do-
Seasons.
What's that?
We doing a Four Seasons this summer?
Yes, I just, I'm sure, so that's Bridget.
Yeah.
That's her baby.
Yeah.
I didn't want to speak for her, but I'm sure that would also be an
They're still
opportunity.
planning on something.
Yes, yep. Yeah, I believe as of right now, it's going to look a little bit more like what last year did instead of more of the multi-day thing. Yep, and that'll be the traditional third Saturday, I think, of July. So, yep, that's on the books.
You're soliciting ideas or volunteers? Both.
It's up to you. If you guys would like to be involved for any sort of presence it's up to you. That's all. I just wanted to put it on your radar if you wanted to be involved as a group.
You know, especially as we start looking to promote Master Park, you know, whether it's having a booth and handing out hot chocolate or something. I know the last time we tried to do that, we did one of those during the Four Seasons and had a lot of good conversations about it. So definitely something I think we should look at staffing towards and, you know, really starting to drive that promotion.
Can I put in a request? It's not on the Iowa State game day.
Well, the date for Fall Fest is already set. It's October 1st. I'm with you. I hope it's not an Iowa State home game, but I think last year it was, unfortunately. But no, I understand that not everybody will be able to be there, so no worries. Yeah, no, for that one, we're going to kind of always coincide with Fenders having their Fenders Fest, so we're a little bit at their mercy.
It's a road game for Iowa State, looks like.
Do you see a need based on where the regional park is at this year for us to have a presence to promote it? I mean, Ashley and I worked a ton. I think of that Fall Fest this last year, and we did have a lot of people stop by, just put the plan out there, just to continue to get people excited or start thinking about donating towards it or something.
And I think that's a lot of what it would be too.
Okay.
Yeah, increased awareness.
Okay. Anything else? Hearing none. Item number 8, reports and particulars. Anything from?
I've got more, but if you guys want to go first so I can catch my breath.
Anything from the commission?
Where we put those trees in down at Leonard Park, are we going to be able to go in this spring and fill in the track marks?
Yes.
Every time I drive past there going home, I see them, so. Good.
Ben, do you have
I'm
anything?
gonna say, do you wanna go or you want me to go?
Go ahead. You first.
All right, let's see, so, we recently had a joint planning and zoning and council meeting to kind of relook at our future land use map. Some conversations about that, and that, we wanna make sure that we have opportunities for commercial development. Obviously, commercial tax dollars go a lot further than residential ones, so as we continue to grow, and we didn't, arrive at any, I guess, conclusions or major changes, but kind of that conversation to get the ball rolling. And I know Chelsea's gonna take another look at some things, but that's something that we're working on prioritizing is future land use and how to preserve space for commercial development. That'll really help contribute to our community. And then this is budget time, so as Jason mentioned, the budget's coming up for approval here. I think I mentioned last time, there will be a slight increase in taxes. We've got to move some things forward. One of the big things we're talking about right now is our facilities, our city facilities we're outgrowing them, they're becoming outdated. Some other priorities that we're working forward. So again, it's never ideal to increase the tax rate, but we need to move forward on some projects and excited to get the ball rolling and work out the specifics.
Any questions? Jason?
All right, I'll fire some more off. I wanted to follow up with Tyler from the DNR last time. We talked about Marina Cove, trying to help with the algae problem there, and he had suggested some trees would certainly help. It would provide shade for anglers, but also it would help reduce that runoff that's getting in there. So right now I'm working with an urban forester. Just with that already being kind of a loaded situation from a nutrient standpoint, we want to pick the right trees that are going to have the greatest impact on reducing surface water coming across. So more on that, but I would fully expect some trees to get planted. I'm hoping that I can have it be part of the 8th grade community service day that they do every year for the parks. So I'm hoping we can identify the right species and locations to put in there.
Any chance those species are going to coincide with a bunch of donated 5K trees?
I think we'll spend a little money and bring in some more mature trees for some more immediate impact.
These are baby trees.
Yeah.
I like the stick.
Let's see, the summer brochure, I'm working on that right now. That will be available online next Monday, the 14th, with registration starting the following. And the last piece, council and the city as a whole recently went through a codification process, is where you look at your code of ordinance and you kind of clean it up. You do this every so many years, and kind of our attorney kind of looks at it, and there are some things in there that maybe made sense at the time, but they don't anymore. So I was tasked with cleaning up a few sections of the code, mostly chapter 47, which is parks. And so there has always been a subsection in there about the sports complex. And when it's an ordinance, it's very hard to change. And she recommended that become set by resolution. It's something a little bit easier. And she thought it would be better to have just like a use policy instead of an ordinance for that. So I've been working on a sports complex policy. And that would include an emergency action plan as well. So that's something that I'm working on that would eventually go to council for approval by resolution. So that is something that I'll bring before you guys when I have finished it, get feedback, and that would be something that your recommendation would be looked at as it
What would
moves
be
on.
the difference between a policy and ordinance, whether it's that or anything
Um,
else?
Essentially, anytime something's done by ordinance, it's just more difficult to change, and I think it's more.
And I don't know all the legalities to it, but yeah, they're much
Right.
more set. Whereas I think some
Yeah.
kind of a little more. Like,
Yeah. Whereas something that may have the more opportunity to change would be set by like resolution instead, where it would only take one reading versus 3 on an ordinance. So, but anyway, that also kind of cleans up the code, takes out some stuff that makes it quite long, and kind of puts it in a better format for operating going forward. So I've been working on that for a while. It's kind of a heavy project, but yeah, I'll bring that before you guys when it's ready to be reviewed, and I'm sure we'll have some conversation about it, and you guys will see stuff that I haven't seen. So it'll be good. We'll eventually get it to council. I think that's all I have.
You did the State Parks and Rec workshop last fall. Are you doing a conference later this month?
Yes, yeah. So I will be attending the Iowa Parks and Rec Association's state conference later this month in Dubuque, is where it is this year. So yeah, and no, actually, a couple weeks ago I went to the. I'm sure you've heard Ken Morse talk about it the past couple of years, especially Josh, who's been on here quite a while. The Shade Tree Short Course that Iowa State puts on every year. Ken recommended that I go as I learn more about parks and more about trees. He's probably forgotten or more about trees than I'll ever know. He's just a wealth of knowledge, but he suggested I go up there, and it was very beneficial. All things trees, talking about, boring insects, obviously emerald ash borer, talking about proper pruning, and urban heat islands and how trees help reduce that. Very good stuff, and new stuff for me is, I came in with a strong rec background, and I've been learning parks. So no, it was good, and I'm glad Ken recommended it. I'm happy that I went.
Anything else from the commission? Okay, I guess that's all we have tonight. So next up is our call for adjournment. Second. All right, and roll call. All in favor of adjourning? Aye. Opposed? All right, we are.